Hey, this is Anney.
And Samantha.
Welcome to Stuff I Never Told You, a production of iHeartRadio. And for this month's book club, the final book club of the year, we are coming back and we thought finishing Wayhaven, but we are not because we thought there was only 3, but apparently there's going to be a lot more. But we did 2 and 3 for this.
Yes.
Yes. So this was something that was first recommended to us by listener Amanda. And if you didn't listen to that episode, we did on the first one. You can go check it out. I think we're going to rerun it pretty soon. Not a sponsor, just to say. But here's your brief explanation. The Wayhaven Chronicles are a supernatural choose-your-own adventure that you can play on multiple platforms by Mishka Jenkins. It follows you, a detective, trying to get to the bottom of some weird stuff, murders, experiments, a lot of things in your life professionally and personally. There is or can be a romance element, which is determined by how you interact with other characters. And it is a very, you choose the gender of your character, you choose kind of where they live and their outfits and their name and the whole thing. But I have to say, I love when we do off the beaten path. Maybe you wouldn't consider this a book, even though it requires a lot of reading. They call it a book. I love when we kind of branch out and do things like this. So here's a short summary of the first game. Your first case as a detective is forcing you to open your eyes to a world bigger than you thought, but maybe it's better to keep them closed. Knowing too much doesn't help anyone sleep at night. Seems the supernatural didn't get the memo that nothing exciting ever happens in the little town of Wayhaven. Well, after playing 2 and 3, I can say it seems a lot of exciting stuff happens in Wayhaven.
It always does.
It does. It does. So like our previous episode, we're going to talk about books 2 and 3, compare our experiences and outcomes. So spoilers. I will say I want to start from the beginning and play again because we hadn't played the first one forever. I had to do 2 and 3 at once. And because we were doing this for an episode, I talked about this in our first one, but I deliberate over every decision. But I have to say, towards the end of 2, I was just like, choose. And it was kind of freeing in a way. But I definitely made a mistake and I'm really mad you can't go back because that's not what I meant to say.
I've done that a couple of times. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I made a pretty big one. I think that was one of the big decisions because usually at the end, the stats tells you what did you do in these big decisions. And yeah. That's not what I meant to do, and you can't go back. So I'll just have to start all over again. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Samantha, when you replay things like this, in general, do you make the same but better choices? Do you try to improve upon the story you already have, or do you go a completely different way?
I tried it. Well, okay, so this is where I went wrong on the first one. Oh, so I've already done the first and second one. I did the second one almost immediately after we did the first one because I am that person.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed it. So I was like, well, let's keep going because this is Twilight level. Not that it's Twilight, don't get mad at me, but that romance, but easy reading, tense stuff that I'm like, oh yeah, it's been a long time since I enjoyed something like this. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that immediately, and it's been a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I jumped into 3 without reviewing 2. And so my third book is probably different from what it should have been because I think I changed some of the results from the first one because I don't think I ever caught Murphy in the first one. I tried. I remember going back to play to try to catch him, and I don't think I did.
So you didn't load your previous...
No, I don't think it's connected because I'm right now, I'm trying to find my stuff for the second one, and I can't...
Huh.
It's making me play all over again. I think the update erased everything.
Interesting. Because I played 2 and 3 together, and I just loaded what I had from 1, and then it told me what happened. And then I played 3 immediately after. So interesting. I spoke about in a game like Mass Effect, I played that game where I could go through every romance and see what happens. I don't know what I'm going to do when I replay this. I don't know, because I made so many mistakes. Now I kind of know what happens. I don't know. All right. Well, part 2. And I had just labeled this "The Carnival Comes to Town," but here's the official description from the website. 2 months have passed since the bloody showdown with Murphy. Wayhaven has returned to its peaceful routine, and you've returned to your less than thrilling job as detective. But with your new role as human liaison to the agency, an organization that governs the supernatural, things should be far from dull. Along with the job comes Unit Bravo, the team you are learning to live with on a more permanent basis. With one of them comes the continuation of feelings that were just beginning to be explored. But an altogether different presence is rolling into Wayhaven, cloaked in striped tents, blazing lights, and clouds of cotton candy. The carnival has arrived. Prepare for the ride. So I think this one was very like, do you accept the supernatural or not? I feel like the point of this one was because at the end of the first one, you kind of get like fancy blood and supernatural powers in this showdown with Murphy, the vampire. Unit Bravo is a team of vampires where many love interests abound. You can make a lot of choices here. And then the agency is sort of the governing body over Unit Bravo, and your mother, who you have an estranged relationship, is part of that agency. But I feel like a lot of the major choices in the second one for me were more like, are you going to accept this supernatural world or are you not? So let's look at the stats. So my character's name is Kira Kingston. I feel like you also are Kira?
Yes.
Okay.
I was Kira Lynn.
Okay. Because it gives you like names to choose from. I was very charming, over intimidating. I was very cautious, over impulsive. I was very genuine. Ooh, I was super friendly, over stoic. I was more easygoing than stubborn. 60% heart versus 40% mind. Optimist, 63%. Team player, 65%. My relationship with my mom is at 77%. So it's pretty good. And then, oh man, it's the same. Oh no. So there is kind of a love triangle that happened with me. And it's between Adam and Nate. It's the same. Bold 30%, shy 70%.
Wait, you did Adam and Nate this time?
I didn't mean to.
Oh. Yeah, that's like
I think what happens is when you leave the first game, I think it kind of sets you up for a triangle between them, because I'm pretty sure I had more points with Farah because it has like relationship points.
Right.
But I think when I imported that data, it just became in the second one where, and even the third one where I was like, okay, this is the relationship I'm in. And like I said, I got pretty impulsive at my choices at the end of the second one. And I was waffling on, I just don't want to, I was like having FOMO. I was like, well, I don't know what's going to happen if I go do this. So
it's true, there's FOMO. You were like, but I don't do that, but I would rather do this, but it's realistically this.
Right. Yeah, there was one decision in the third one, and we'll talk about this later, but I was like, I feel like if I make this decision, which I was like, it made more sense, but romantically, it's going to put me in a situation I don't want to be in.
Right. Yeah. By the third time, like, they kept pushing, even though I was obviously, because I chose triangle. I'm going to be K-drama about it. Like, I did choose a triangle, but it's obviously that I'm leaning towards one. But if I chose the other, I think it would have just finalized it the way it made it sound. It says start a new relationship. That's never an option with the other one.
Interesting. Okay, we are going to talk about that more later.
Okay, keep going, though.
I want to know. But also, we both thought this was the last one.
Right.
So I kept being like, wait,
why hasn't anything happened?
I've made my decision. You're trying to get me to cheat? What are you doing? Anyway.
Really wants to make it messy.
Yes. So basically the second one is kind of like do you make a treaty with this supernatural group, which I did, and then they kind of join you and help you, and you make friends with them. And then it's also like, who did you decide to save? And I decided to save Sana, not Adam, but Adam was fine. Great. And then I did tell Tina. I told Tina about the whole everything, what was going on. And Tina's like your friend, and she's your coworker.
Oh, you told Tina.
I told Tina. Mm-hmm.
How did she handle that?
Oh, great. Super great. She was very into it. She's very excited. I had to calm her down because she was so excited about it. Yeah. So you told the other guy.
Mm-hmm. He got real weird.
Yeah. Something about him. I was like, I don't know. Okay. So that's kind of where that one wraps up. And so at this point, I was still in my triangle. And it sounds like you were as well. But I think you could have said, I want to be in a relationship at this point.
But only one of them. The other one, no.
Right.
If you chose the other one, you were going to stay in a triangle.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Because there's no way to really choose them. Except like you keep choosing him, but they don't really, like it's still the other dude.
Right. Interesting. Okay. All right, so part 3, here's the summary. A string of kidnappings takes over Wayhaven, and once more, you're called in to help when it quickly becomes apparent there's more happening than what's on the surface. Even worse, when the kidnapper's focus turns towards you, and you are the only one who has the power to deal with them. It's time for bids to be placed. And my description of this one was, there's a bounty on you.
Such a good description.
Thank you.
Good teaser.
Yeah. It's such a good trope. It's true. And I mean, it's no offense, but it is kind of very Twilight. And it's got those tropes you see a lot. I love the whole blood drive aspect of it.
Of course.
Because I'm like, I feel like you could get out of this in so many other ways. But all right. It became a big deal because it was like required of you, your character, to give blood. It was a big plot point, but you can't give blood because your blood is special. What's going to happen?
Yes.
So it was like this whole thing about how you're going to avoid giving blood. I was like, I feel like there's other ways we could have handled this.
There's so many things that I was like, huh.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a middle ground player. Are you? Where I try to stay neutral of like conflicts between the captain and the mayor. So any conflicts, I'm trying to stay in the middle.
Mm-hmm. I think in general I am, because I want to see, because usually it gives you like the option to choose one side or be neutral. And I usually try to do the neutral one first and then see what happens, and then I'll
go back.
But I feel like I picked the captain over the mayor about the like, let's go flashy or let's not go flashy about advertising the blood drive. But yeah, that was the extent of it. And it worked out fine. It all worked out fine. I was a little concerned at the end, though. I had some moments of like, oh my God, is this person going to die right now? Oh. So funnily enough, I don't have my stats for this one, but you do, right, Samantha?
I do. So this one I prepared because I couldn't find the second one. I was like, I was like, damn. And so on this one, I was like, okay. I got the stats. So I did take pictures. I am a very neutral person, it seems. So yeah, I'm 50% charming and 50% intimidating, 55% impulsive, 45% cautious, 57% sarcastic, 43% genuine, 45% friendly, 55% stoic. I'm 63% easygoing and 37% stubborn, which is probably not true in real life. So I am more mind traded. I'm going to say that back. 57%. I am 50-50 when it comes to optimism and pessimism. And I am a 55% Tim player. Yeah, that's me. That's about right. Those are my traits. And then I had 0 combat and physical skills. Well, I have 80% psychological and people skills, 37 deduction, 21 science. And then I go by the book 44%, bend the rules 56% of the time. Yeah. And then the relationship part, I don't know, because it only showed me Rebecca. And we're at 63%. Not very close. That's it. And then Bobby's just there. He's mentioned for some odd reason. And I couldn't figure out the rest, because like I've had a hard time trying to figure out the stats and how to access everything. It's not the greatest system. Hey, people who do Wayhaven, your system's not great. But yeah, so I definitely am in the love triangle, as you had said. There are creatures that I was like, what's happening with these creatures? Who's these creatures? What's happening? What is happening? It sets up for the next big reveal. I saw a complaint in this one where they felt like the first one, the original, really understood the big moment, the big thrill, and then like the coming back, and as where this one was anticlimactic in many of the ways. And I was like, yeah, I get that. You get all this like attempted kidnapping and kidnapping of everybody. And then just like, okay, it's over.
Yeah, but I did think a lot of people were going to die. Well, that's when I made my flawed decision. It's not what I wanted to do, but I couldn't go back. Okay, my big choices. I befriended Douglas, and he got turned at the end.
Wait, Douglas?
Yeah.
The kid? Turned into what?
He got turned. They gave him the same thing they gave me. The same serum, and he got
what
turned.
Serum?
From the first one. They gave him the thing that just, I don't know, he got turned.
Wow, this is a completely different story from Douglas is barely there for me. He's trying to figure his life out, and it's kind of sad, but that's about it.
Yeah, he's trying to figure it out. I was like,
I ignored him, essentially. I was like, yeah, we can't keep going with this crush. You do you, bye. Wow, okay, keep going.
I was mostly like, your father, you need to, don't listen to him. And anyway, he got turned. I thought he was going to die because he showed up to like help me. And
is Murphy still alive for you? Or
no?
Okay. I wondered if they had something, because I don't remember part about the serum. Maybe I missed it.
Oh, maybe. Well, see, we have fun different comparisons to make. He lived, but I was like, oh God, he's dead. And it's my fault, because I have this kid. I was trying to be nice, and now he didn't listen to me, and I was like, run away. Anyway, I meant to have Rebecca come with me. That's the choice I failed at. I accidentally said no. I meant to say yes. And anyway, but she lived.
Did it go bad? Because Rebecca comes with me.
Oh, I want to hear it.
Yeah.
I think yes. I think it would have gone better if she had been with me. I don't think Douglas would have been turned, and I think everyone would have been saved instead of most people.
Oh, no.
Oh, really?
I don't think so. He kidnaps a lot of people.
Yeah? Oh, really? Well, okay. But then what's your other when you're like in this dungeon and you're chasing the bad guy of the whole thing, and I stopped and let the people out.
Yeah, I did the same.
And so most of them got out.
Yeah.
I just think a couple of them didn't.
So he took some of the creatures?
Yeah. Basically, this guy was kidnapping supernatural beings to sell at an auction.
Yes.
And you were one of the people
and then apparently they don't have to be alive. You just you can take their power. So I never got a clarification where these people, because like the people who go get kidnapped are never mentioned again. Except for Elidor. Like he's the only one. But I'm like, what happened to them? Anybody gonna tell me? There's a little bit of holes here. Someone tell me where they went. Is that little girl okay? I mean, like, hello? Anybody? So all those things. So did you find out that Rebecca was a part of the chamber? Yes. So she was a part of the big ruling council. Body. Yes. Yeah, until the husband died. Her father died. Which by the end line, the tagline, or the ending, the suspenseful ending, was so cheesy. I'm like, is this supposed to be a play on the father's name?
I think so. And chess.
No, it absolutely was. But I was just like, what is happening here? Like, it was, no offense, because it's still a good book.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't think I'm criticizing the writer.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just like, it felt like an Anney level of pun.
Yeah.
With violence.
Yes. I find that not an insult at all.
You're welcome. But yeah, so because so Douglas has nothing to do with me. Like, I don't have anything to do with him. Like, he does come around every now and again, and all the vampires are growling about he needs to get away from her. And she's just like, you know what, dude? You do you. Don't make them think this way about you. You got this. Go on your way. That's it. That's essentially how I go about it. So I don't have anything to do with him again. I do have Verda, who has been acting all weird. He even left, took like so much time off that she was concerned that he was just going to leave and quit. Everybody's trying to figure out what's wrong with him. He's acting very depressed, overly professional, to the point that the husband, Verda's husband, comes around and was like, can you talk to him because he's having a hard time? And turns out his husband is a supernatural.
Oh.
So he gets really upset and he's like, please come and talk to him because I don't want this to be a thing. So she goes to have dinner with Verda and the family and brings Nate, the very nice vampire, to explain everything for him. And he feels much better. To the point that I was like, is he a part of the kidnappers? Is he a trapper? Like, I was very concerned that Verda was a bad guy. But it turns out he wasn't. He just really was upset. I don't think the husband ever tells him in this book that he's a supernatural. And I don't know what kind of supernatural he was. And then the next thing I thought was that he was going to get kidnapped.
Yeah.
He does not. Yet. So whatever happened there, but everything is fixed. Verda is back to his normal self and even considering going to work for the agency.
Oh, wow. Oh, interesting. Okay. So I did the opposite where I told Tina.
Yeah, right.
And she becomes like your good non-supernatural friend that you can just talk to stuff about. You go to dinner with her. I also brought Nate. And you find that she is being followed by someone from the agency who I'm very suspicious of.
There's moles.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, she seems cool. And Tina's like, has a huge crush on her. So I don't know what to do about that. But there's definitely a couple of lines where I was like, wait. Okay, I don't know what to do about this. So that was my version of it, but we had a very nice dinner party.
Tina is very also slight in the conversation. Like, she's around and she threw a party and she very much loves them. But yeah, we don't have them. Verda was more of the involvement for sure.
Interesting. The other thing is there's a character in the third one named Sin, who's kind of like a ancient, very powerful being that is being controlled by the main villain. But he is attacking you and kidnapping people. And in the end, I convinced him to do his own thing.
And
he
you
flew
did?
Off. Yeah.
I could not convince him. I tried.
Well, I mean, what happened on your side?
He came back to protect the bad guy and said, if you fall, I'm going to take him out of town. If you follow us, I'll have no recourse but to attack you. So don't follow us. And she's like, I'm glad you're okay. I wish you can go away. And he's not believing her. I wonder where I went wrong.
Well, basically mine kind of came down to I had the choice. He came back and he was like, I don't know. He's so genuine.
Because you asked how he was doing. He's like, you sound so genuine. I
did at one point, but I didn't at that point. I was like, why are you back?
I said, I'm glad to see you're okay. That's how it starts out for me.
I said, why are you back? And then there's two options of trying to convince him to join the agency with you. And there's two of I don't know, attack him. And there was one that was let him do his own thing. And that's the one I did.
No, I think I tried to convince him. Come to the agency. So this creature is somehow tethered by old magic to the bad guy who is human and can do whatnot. All supernaturals cannot touch him because he has some kind of force field or something, protection. But she can. And they think it may be an illusion. all these things. So she's able to hurt him and kick him and blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to, yeah, that's interesting because I could not convince him. He goes away. And so the bad guy gets away because I chose that same route. I'm like, I would rather choose the people. There's no way, even though Rebecca did not approve. And yes, so I did have Rebecca helping because we talked about this being the difference. I did have her helping, knowing that the supernaturals couldn't get close. Had a little pin. I'm trying to wait on her to do something to get to the free the people, but it never really happens. Elidor's there. And so finally, I try to stretch out the auction by asking questions about the product, quote unquote, and everybody gets super suspicious, and then all hell breaks loose. So essentially, that's what happens. But Rebecca's fine. She finally does get a few of them, and then that's what we see. And then Rebecca, can't remember. Oh, does the whole like, I get why you did it, but this was our thing. We'll have to go and find them, find as many trappers as possible, yada, yada, yada. And then she gets offered a job.
Right.
Which I decided to take. Did you?
I did, but it gave me like a vibe like I shouldn't have.
Did.
Yeah. I just felt like I was already kind of working on the team. So
right. I was confused.
Okay.
Like she was full time. I was like, wait, wasn't she always? I'm confused.
Yeah. So basically at the end, Rebecca, who again is your mom, the character's mom that you're playing, who did miss her job as part of the, like higher ups, but also didn't regret it really. Was like, hey, they want you to have this job on Unit Bravo, which is the vampire she's been like pretty much living with. And you have the option, you have like a bunch of options, but they kind of boil down to yes, no, because I want a better relationship with you. And or I don't want to work for you because she's in charge of them. And then 3, I don't trust this whole thing. So I said yes, but then afterwards it was like, okay. Like, oh, okay. I don't think like anybody was really that happy about it.
No, yeah. I did have a bunch of people try to convince me not to. Like Nate came over to talk to me, and then Felix came over and talked to me. And at this point you choose who your best friend is, and I chose Felix.
Oh, I was Farah. Felix. No.
So all of mine are men.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why. Maybe because I said that I was heterosexual. I don't know. And so all of mine were men. Felix and Mason are the awesome characters. And Felix came. My option is that this is going to be your new best friend. Yes. Mason or Felix. And I was like, Felix?
Man, I totally forgot about him. He's like in my story that little. Mine was between Farah and Morgan.
Yeah. So that's the girl versions, I guess. Yeah. I don't know why I have all men. Did I choose that the first one? I don't feel like I did. I think I went back and trying to find others because I guess they want you to try. When I get too overwhelmed with too many options, 2 is enough.
No, for sure. I mean, I literally deliberate. It's embarrassing how long I'm like, what if I said this? But it could go like this. That's why it took me so long to go through these.
Yeah. But it was quite funny.
Yeah.
And then playing the random game of Never Have I Ever.
Yes.
I was like, what is this? And then the random questions, and it lets you choose to take a drink or not.
Yeah. It's like, okay, have I done this?
So the first question was like being nosy with your neighbors or spying on your neighbors. And I was like, what?
I was trying to remember if like literally I had done that in the game. I can't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't think I had either.
The bathtub falling on top of you, which I was like, probably would have been injured. What is happening here?
Yeah.
There's so many questions. But yes, so I had that moment with the love triangle. So I have the love triangle with Adam and Nate. And like I said, I tried to just go with Adam. And everything I would choose was with Adam. And it just kept having Nate give me the looks or Nate coming up. But like situations with the dinner, obviously I'm not taking Adam, who is angry and like surly. Like that's definitely not going to be the option when I'm trying to ease somebody.
Right.
I was really hoping Felix was going to be an option, but it wasn't. It was Nate or Adam. So I definitely did that. And then like, I did try to keep up some of the things, but like not some of the things. So I didn't do the long prolonged hugs or the flirty comments. I didn't really do the flirty comments with Adam either. It was more of the shy kind of comments. Like if we went driving. Did y'all go driving? You and
No, I can't wait to compare notes because it does do this. Because I went with Nate's and it does it with Adam.
Yeah.
And one time he was so bummed and he was like, I really need to talk to you. I was like, okay, buddy. And then he told me his whole life story. I was like, oh my God, sir.
Yes. So I get the life story also from Adam. And he tells it to me on the drive. So yeah, so I tried. But like there was an option where if you kiss Nate, which there was an option in the second one too at the end, and I didn't because it says it'll start a relationship. I was like, well, not ready for that. In this one, it gives you another option to do it, to start a relationship. And I was like, nope, not ready for that. So I said no on that one too and gave him a kiss on the cheek.
Yes. So I have discovered through this, I was like, oh God, you have a real thing with commitment. But also I just like didn't want to let anybody down. I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Right.
And I was afraid like that. It was very like, this will begin the relationship. And I was like, oh no.
With Nate?
With both of them. All the time. Yes.
So you had options of beginning a relationship with Adam?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never gotten that option.
I did have it. And I kept putting it off because I was like, I kind of enjoy more of the buildup than the actual thing.
Right. Who doesn't?
We talked about that, I think, in our shipping episode.
Right.
I like that part, but then I just felt like an asshole, to be honest, because they kept like, they'd give the hurt looks if you chose the other one. And then Farrah came to talk to me and was like, just know this isn't just affecting you. And I was like,
Felix kept telling me that too.
I was like,
Felix.
I'm not trying to do anything here. And so one of the big decisions I had, which is such a trope, I love it though, but because I originally chose, in the first one you have kind of, it's a very popular video game option, but you have, are you going to be kind of the like research technological one, or are you going to do combat? And I chose research.
Me too.
And the third one was like, are you still going to do that or you want to learn combat? And I was like, I guess I'll do combat.
I did the same.
Who are you going to spar with? And it was like, this guy or this guy. And I was like, no, because they're going to turn it into sexy stuff because that's what always happens with sparring. I just want to learn combat. Now it's become a romantic decision.
It has.
It has. It is very interesting to me, the popularity of the love triangle, which I totally get. It's a nice, like, escapist idea of, oh, I'm so desired. I've got these options, you know. But it was funny how many times I was much more like, I just don't want to hurt his feelings. I don't know how this has happened to me.
Why am I here?
But after the dinner party, I was finally like, no, I'm going to start this relationship because I feel so guilty about this whole thing.
That's funny. In a video, in a game, I guess.
Yes.
Not a video game. In a game.
I do. I've told you before, I can't. There are games I've played 1,000,000 times and I cannot get the other ending because it's too mean to get to that ending. I can't do it. It is. I mean, I had a good time, but I was expecting, I told you, I guess I'm just not wise to the ways of romance. But I thought, okay, I've started this relationship. Now I'll go talk to Adam and I'll be like, okay, I'm sorry, man, but this is what's happening. That never happened. And it ended with me sitting in between both of them.
Yeah.
And it's clear that it's still going on in the triangle. And I was like, wait.
They drank. Never have I ever.
What about, like, did you date?
Yeah.
Have you fallen for a coworker?
Have you ever had feelings for a coworker?
Yes. And they both took a drink. I don't think I did, even though I was like, probably should have.
I don't think that lets you.
No, it doesn't give you the option.
It
but I was
doesn't
like,
give you an option. There was something in which someone did half a drink. Was it Felix? I think it was Felix in that question. Or Farrah does just a half a sip. They're like, what is that?
Maybe another will enter the ring. I did start to think about that because once you agree to work on the team, I was like, well, what? It's true. I'm working with these people that clearly There's a lot of romance going on, and what is that going to look
They
like?
just keep talking about how they're family.
Yeah. In general, like, I get why people date coworkers. It makes sense to me, but it is a very,
I would never.
it's a risky proposition. But I also am kind of like, again, I thought this was the last one, so I had assumed
we would have happily ever after or sadly ever after.
Like I would have picked the guy. I did think Nate was going to die at one point when he bust in. It didn't look good, but I thought it was going to be resolved. And then I told you, I was like, are they trying to get me to cheat? Like, what is this? But it's true. I mean, you do have a conversation, in my case, Farrah, probably for you, Felix, where they're like, yeah, love is really messy and it doesn't always work out. And they keep making these allusions to like hearts splitting in two. Man.
I don't quite get Adam's story of like, you know, he did it his way, so everybody died, so that's why I can't love anybody. I'm like, I assume that he killed them accidentally, or his love for someone killed somebody, but instead it was just like he was prideful and trying to defend his family, and they all died. I don't understand. Am I missing something in this story?
Yeah, I feel like I got a lot of like backstories
Yes.
now. I've got to. Yeah.
Can't remember. Nate doesn't have. I don't have Nate's backstory.
He gave me some of it. I feel like a lot of it came in that I didn't realize it was such a fateful decision, but in the decision.
In the car ride?
We didn't go on a car ride. We went to like a bench and sat and talked.
Right. So Adam was washing a car that he has had for years, and he's like, let's go take a drive. And she's like, okay. And so they take a drive, and then they go to a park and sit.
Mm-hmm.
So I assume if you chose Nate as the one that she ran into, that there's something else that they would have done. I would thought maybe go to the library. But yeah, so I didn't get any of Nate's story.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting to me. I got Felix's story, which I'm sure you got Felix's story.
Yeah, well,
about his mom.
Oof. If I did, it was in 1. I literally don't remember him in 2 and 3 at all.
No, it's in the 3rd one. I just read it. It's about the fact that his mom's a witch.
So I think that's fair for me. Farrah's
yeah, that's
mom's
what
a
I'm
witch.
saying. I'm sorry. When I say Felix, I'm talking about Farrah.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So they're the same persons. It's just whichever gender.
Oh, good. That makes me feel so much
okay.
better.
I didn't realize you didn't know. It's whatever gender you have, like they have chosen. Farrah and Felix are the same people.
Oh, that makes me feel so much better. I was like, I don't remember this guy at all. Oh, wow. Okay.
And all of the listeners are like, what the is happening here? What is this club? Sorry, y'all. But yeah, no. Farrah is Felix. Morgan is Mason. Like, those are two interchangeable peoples. So when I say Felix, I'm talking about Farrah for you.
Okay. Yes. Got
so
it. That makes so much more sense. Oh my gosh.
Did you get their backstory?
Yes.
Okay. And about the witch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So those are the only two that I know, because Morgan / Mason still very, like, I don't know anything about him other than he's very stoic and sad and hates humans.
Yeah, it was funny because I really tried to go for Morgan for a while in the first one, and now we would never have worked out. But
he's too surly for me.
Yeah, but I do feel bad because I want to be your friend, and we are friends.
Did you try to choose? You should have tried to choose him as the best friend. Her. I
could have, but I just felt like Farrah and I were a more natural fit.
Yeah, Farrah's just nicer / Felix.
Yeah, but we had a good moment. There's an interrogation scene where you have to work with Morgan / Mason. And we had a good time. We worked together. Well, the interrogation went well.
Was it of the family?
No, it was a guy, it was a trapper we caught, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did you split the party? There's a part where it's like, are you going to split up? Oh,
no.
I did.
I didn't think that was smart. She has a lot of guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Did you split the party? So what happened when you split? So there's a section, readers are like, what the hell? Listen. So in these sections, you have different options, obviously. There's a section when you find out that there are 3 kidnappings happening at once, and you try to find the best decision. And they're all in the progress at the same time. And so 2 of them suggest splitting up, trying to get the best odds. One of them say we should just do one because they know that this is probably a trap because they'd already fallen for one trap. So she makes the decision, and I made the decision that even though she didn't want to, but she would follow Adam's lead, who said that at least save one, because it might be too late for everybody else. And as long as we can concentrate together, at least we can save the one. And she didn't have time to argue, so she's like, fine, we'll do it. In which, is it Nate? No, I think it's Felix who's like, /Farah, like, are you okay with that? At one point. So I decided that yes, I will agree with Adam's plan and go and get the one. And we stayed together. We saved the boy who did not care, but it was obvious that it was a trap for her. Well, so you split them up.
I split them up. And there are several decisions where it was kind of comical. I was like, oh, that's how you're reading it. Because then Adam was like, oh, look at that. She's so sexy. I was like, wait, what? But anyway, we split up. And Farah was like, yeah, it's good. Adam feels so guilty about making these decisions, but he does it because he knows he wants to take the guilt away from us. It's a hard time and all that stuff. But we saved 2.
Oh, man. Damn it.
Yeah. But that was a tough one, because I also was like, oh, splitting the party's a bad idea.
Like, never split up. Never split up. What's wrong with you?
Yep.
But now it turns out I turned out a bad decision.
But I think every decision, though, has like the bad way it could have gone.
Yeah.
Because I did have to decide like what I had to fight these trappers by myself, and I had to decide what to do. And I think that could have gone very wrong.
Right.
So
what did you decide to do?
I used like my weapon, my technology skills, and I basically threw a gas bomb at them and they passed out.
Oh. Because this is the one, did you have a weapon that they use against the vampires that debilitated them?
The Volt,
yeah. So it was like a ball.
I think we did the same thing, yeah.
I went and grabbed it and busted it. And then I passed out.
Oh, you passed out?
Yeah, because they vaulted me.
Oh.
Like they all were like, all the vampires were like falling apart. I think, am I getting this confused? That might have been the first trap. I can't remember, y'all.
I love this. Oh, well, it worked out, but it was a risk. I was like, oh.
Yes. Yes. So apparently, once again, this is a longer series. Like, I think I read at one point like 7 books. There may have been 12 books coming out. I didn't know this. I was like, is this going to be a George R.R. Martin type of thing for those who actually do read these? And this one took a very long time to come out. Yeah.
Yeah. And it ended with a pretty big, like, a lot of loose ends.
Yes. Obviously, a very lot of loose ends, including the father somewhere in the play. I think Felix / Farah's mom's going to come into play because she just doesn't.
Yeah.
She just disappears. So, I don't know. I'm trying to look up to see if they have any updates about the 4 release. It says she usually takes about 2 years between books. So, this was just released this year. So it might be a while.
It might be a while before we know how our triangles will play out.
Well, it's going to be a long while because if there's like 10 books.
That's true.
And there's 2
Every
years
book
in
ends
between.
with like, still happening.
Like, we may be dead before this happens. It's like we find out what's going on.
Isn't that a thought? Can I ask, did you ever do, because it has an option to have a sex scene, and you have the fade to black?
There's a sex scene?
Oh my gosh! So
What?
you did it.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I am thoroughly confused now.
Wait, but you're still not in a relationship?
No.
Okay. I got into the relationship.
With Anna?
With
Or
Nate.
Oh, no.
And I got into it right after the dinner party. And after you get injured, like, pretty severely, Nate comes to take care of you, but you can choose it to be Adam, but I chose Nate because I was in a relationship. And he comes and he like distracts you and tries to make you feel better. And then at one point...
This will make you feel better.
Well, so you're playing pool and then it gets a little like hot under the collar. And you have like 4 options and it's like, no, 6. And 2 of them are like, you have sex. Do you want the details or do you want to fade to black?
Did you fade to black?
Oh, no, I just kissed him. I was like, whoa. I got like broken ribs, I'm pretty sure. Let's not do this.
No, but I did not get to that at all. Again, I'm pretty determined to be with Adam.
Mm-hmm.
I will not let me be with Adam. So I am very thoroughly confused. I will say I think I'm flirting with Nate a little too much, I guess, and like trusting, like, because he's such a nice guy. But yeah, no, I did not. I really thought this was going to be a PG all the way through.
Oh, no. But I did like how it was like, do you want the details or do you want the fade to black?
That's a nice way to do it.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Well, okay. I'm also interested in this. Like, this must be really difficult to write, to have to like write so many variations. Like I say this in the teasing manner of like 2 years, but to have to like go through each decision and then find 6 different options. And so therefore you have 6 different ways, which you and I talked about in our book. Mm-hmm. Of making it an activity, a whole chapter of a choose your own adventure where it all ends in disasters. Yeah. No, it was really sad. We kept trying to like work it out. I'm like, nope, this is not going to work well. Mm-hmm. But like, and then trying to actually do it, we were like, we could only do a chapter. There's no way we could do more than like a 5-page chapter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I can't imagine. And I mean, it reminds me of Dungeons and Dragons in some ways. It's very similar. But at least like, I can do some of that on improv. Like, okay, they did this. I'll come up with something really quick.
You don't have to go ahead and write it all out.
Exactly. And so I sort of have like a vague,
right.
But I don't have to write it all down. But then Adam and Nate got in a big fight after that about it, which I find interesting when they cut away from you as the character.
Yeah, and they talk about it.
Yeah. And it was kind of like, uh-oh, I think this is going to boil over.
Obviously. That's what Farrah/Felix is telling you.
I know, but it was like, uh-oh, you guys, I don't think I should have joined the team if this is what... They were pretty upset with each other.
There was a fight, but there wasn't a fight. It was just an argument, and Adam quickly backs down for me.
It was a fight. But it was just like... It was sort of their whole thing of like, I want to protect her too. I want to protect her too. And I'm like, okay, you guys. I do also like, it's such a trope that the whole thing of the bad guy sends you an outfit.
Yes. The black and gold card.
Yes.
And then the perfect slinky outfit that you wear.
Like you have to wear to come to this event. Yes.
And then you have a compliment from someone.
Yes, depending on who we choose. And then I will say there was like a theme of trauma because you can have moments where you have flashbacks or just how you're dealing with all of the stuff that's happened to you in this wild couple of months that these take place in. So I thought that was interesting. The relationship with your mother is also interesting.
That she had a flashback about that.
Yeah. And that was a big part of the third one was like, how are you going to work together? How are you going to move on with your relationship with her or not? So we'll see. I had fun. I was all up in there. I get so hung up on these decisions.
Some of them are difficult. Again, I'm very neutral. There's a lot of nods and shrugs, which is why I think I'm mainly stoic.
I'm very like, yeah.
And like touching, but not touching. Looking, but kind of looking.
Yeah. It does have a lot of the you almost kiss, but don't. Or like you think about it, but turn away. Yes. And I did that as long as I could, but then I felt terrible about myself.
And I still keep going with it, apparently, because I can't choose Adam.
Interesting. Well, once again, thanks to Amanda for bringing these to our attention. They have been fun. For listeners who have no idea what we're talking about, I hope you enjoyed it anyway.
You should go try it and come back to us.
Yeah. Or if you have any other like choose your own adventure things that we should talk about or play, they are really fun. We do like them. So you can send those suggestions our way. You can email us at stephanieandmomstuff@iheartmedia.com. You can find us on Twitter at momstuffpodcast or on Instagram and TikTok at Steph Never Told You. We have a TeePublic store, and yes, we do have a book. It has activities in it, not a choose your own adventure, but you can get it wherever you get your books. Thanks as always to our super producer, Christina, our executive producer, Maya, and our contributor, Joey.
Thank you.
And thanks to you for listening. Stuff I Never Told You is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, you can check out the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.